On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at the DC Universe Classics Wave 13. We'll be looking today at Superboy. Really, this was going to be the first figure I was going to review, but it being that he only comes with the arm of Trigon, I felt it was necessary to probably do him second and then get the torso and everything out of the way. What ended up happening was I ended up really enjoying the Blue Devil figure. So you see how things work out? What you don't think you really want in the beginning is something that you end up thinking, or ends up being something that you need in the end. I think the Rolling Stones made reference of that in a song of some sort. But we are now looking at Superboy. This was the figure I really wanted to get from this set. Comes to us from Mattel. Also noting that the package says Adult Collector, which is very strange that they are mentioning that in package. They usually don't want to. They usually don't want to indicate that a line is for any specific type of collector. It's very strange that they actually put Adult Collector there. But at any rate, this is figure 2 from Wave 13. Packaging, I'll probably talk a lot more about the packaging now, but as these series progress, I'll probably say I'm sick of them, kind of like what I did with the other DC Universe figures. The packaging is very fresh and a nice welcome change, but let's hope that they don't continue to use this packaging for future waves down the road. Every time I do a review, something always happens, and that's the phone ringing. But we have a nice packaging. DC 75 years of superpower, Superboy. Also comes with a collector button. By the way, the phone that was ringing, that's for my wife. I don't need to answer it. It'll go to the answer machine. On the back of the package, buy all 7 and build your own collect and connect figure, and the figure in this case is Trigon. The other figures in this wave, we've got Negative Man, we've got Superboy, we've got Cyclotron, we've got Blue Beetle, Cheetah, Blue Devil, and Donna Troy. It is funny, I don't think I mentioned any of the names of the characters in the very first review. I'm not doing a good job of starting off these reviews, am I? And get all the buttons to complete your DC 75th Anniversary collection. They don't really indicate how many buttons there are. I mean, I guess if any future figures from DC Universe each come with a button, ideally the only way to collect all of them is simply to buy all the figures. Unless you get somebody that just doesn't like the buttons and sells them on eBay or something like that. The read-up on Superboy says, biography, Superboy is a clone created by Project Cadmus to replace the Man of Steel, believed killed in a battle with Doomsday. Unable to genetically engineer Kryptonian DNA, Cadmus instead bioengineered the Teen of Steel with genetic material from its late director, Paul Westfield. The young hero tends to... I wasn't trying to get your attention, I just had to clear my throat. The young hero tends to think his fist rather than his head, but tries to make Superman proud of him. Statistics, first appearance, The Adventures of Superman 500, early June 1993. Real name, Con-El, or Connor Kent. Occupation, adventurer. Base of operations, Metropolis. Special abilities, tactile telekinesis, which replicates many of Superman's powers, can disassemble objects by touching them. Which actually was not a power I was a fan of. I don't think you should really ever give your characters an ability that powerful. Can disassemble objects by touching them. But needless to say, that's packaging. I am very, very looking forward to getting this guy opened up. So let's not wait any longer. What we'll do is we'll open up the package on Superboy, and we will have a better look at the figure. Stay tuned, guys. So much more to come. And we'll just have a quick look at the button that Superboy comes with. This one's a little less interesting, I think, than the other buttons. It would have been nice maybe if, granted it's small in size, but it would have been nice if they used the first cover that he appeared on, where he's leaning against the brick wall. It's got the Superman symbol on it. I'll move the button out of the way. The checklist piece for the piece of Trigon is that Superboy comes with his arm. I'm wondering if maybe this figure is going to be taller than he is going to be bigger, because the arm's not very large versus, say, the size of Superboy. So maybe he is going to just be, maybe he's just going to have really tall legs. I don't know. But we'll bring in the other pieces, and by other pieces I only mean one piece, because I've only done one other review on the DC Universe Wave 13. But we'll take the arm, and we'll take the torso, and like peanut butter and jam, we put the two together, and what we have is an upper torso and one arm. Not much so far, but still many figures to review, and we'll eventually get a fully completed Trigon. So let's move him out of the way, and let's have a look once again at Superboy. This figure is spectacular. I love this figure. I love it. Now, my age bracket, I might have a softer spot for this figure than, say, other people, or maybe younger people. My age bracket, when I was really into the peak of comic collecting, I think was more or less in the early 90s. And the early 90s, probably one of the biggest events for a comic collector was not only the breaking of Batman's back by Bane in the Nightfall series, and also the death of Superman. Big events for a comic collector, and really big events for a child overall. I remember actually getting my parents to get me the Superman number 75, the black bagged version. My dad actually, very nice of me, stood in line, a very long line, and got two bags actually, one that I could keep sealed and then one that I opened up. But I remember Christmas morning opening that up, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that I was ever going to get a Superman number 75, because I had heard, it was going to get sold out and all that kind of stuff, but I got it. My dad came through, and between the death of Superman, the reign of Superman, where we were introduced to the Superboy, Steel, Cyborg Superman, and the Eradicator, and then finally the return of Superman. I'm not saying anything that you guys already don't know. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows the story of the death of Superman. Prior to finding out that Superman was none of the four characters, I don't know if I really was suspecting that Superboy here was going to be the new Superman. I think if anything, I was thinking it was going to be the Eradicator, because he looked the most like Superman. But boy, we were wrong. It ended up being none of them. I did like the Superboy. I loved the design of him. And I also loved the Amalgam comics, where they amalgamated Superboy and Spider-Man. I thought he looked kind of cool too. But the figure looks exactly like I would have pictured him if he was in a figure form. The jacket is incredible. I love how they've actually sculpted it opened, and then they've got the open straps here. I mean, the detailing on the jacket is incredible. Of course, we've got the Superboy Spider-Man, or S logo. I'm having a tough time with this video today. I don't know, it's just an off day for me. But each Superman symbol with each Superman was different. So the Cyborg Superman was a half Superman S. The Steel was a Steel emblem. The Superboy was more of a stitched kind of yellow emblem. I'm trying to remember what Eradicator was. I think he was just a regular Superman S. I'm getting way off topic here. But at the end of the day, I have to say this figure is great. And he was my figure to pick up that I wanted to get from this set. And now that I have him in hand, he doesn't disappoint at all. One thing I actually do like about him, I'll give you guys a close-up look on the face here, is that you can actually, if you lower the glasses, and I don't know how much clearance I'm going to get on here, but if you lower the glasses, he actually has eyes underneath. And it's not like the DC Superheroes Catwoman, you remember the review that I did on her, where you could actually take the glasses off, the goggles off, and she had eyes underneath, but the eyes, the face was so screwed up and so sunken in that you could take the glasses off, but the figure would look terrible. The Superboy, on the other hand, you can actually do it, and you still have his eyes underneath. Which is the slight bit of customization that I might end up doing on this figure. Just because when I remember Superboy on the cover of the Reign of Superman cover, I remember him with the glasses kind of near the edge of his nose. And I might try to do that. I don't know, I might try to do that. Because I don't know if I like the glasses completely up to the top of his eyes. But, I mean, the glasses are just mildly glued, so, I mean, fixing that won't be a problem. What I also like, too, is that he has the smaller body sculpt. I mean, he's certainly a lot shorter as well. So, I mean, the figure, compared to the other larger figures, is in perfect scale. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody really likes this costume, but I'm digging it. I mean, it represents some of the best parts of the 90s, was this arc, and then the idea of the new Superman coming in. In the way of his articulation, he does have a ball-jointed head, which I don't think the other DC Universe waves, the Wave 12, Wave 11, and possibly even Wave 10, I don't think the ball-jointed heads worked as fluidly as the heads do on these figures. You can get really a lot of movement out of them. He has the ball-jointed shoulders. You can rotate the bicep. You can bend the elbow, rotate the hand. You guys know where this is going. You can bend the waist or the mid-torso. You can rotate the waist. You can bend the legs back and forth, in and out. You can rotate the thigh, or the lower thigh area. You can bend the knee. And finally, you can bend the foot. As I mentioned with the Blue Devil, the Superboy here also has really tight joints. And it doesn't seem at all that quality control is becoming an issue as these lines progress. Certainly using the same molds over and over again, sometimes the figures tend to start getting extremely loose and extremely cheap feeling. But complete opposite actually for these figures. This figure feels substantial, and all the joints feel extremely tight on this figure. The only thing, again, I would fix is probably just the glasses. I would have him just slightly lowered on his nose. But aside from that, it's a perfect figure. And would go perfectly with the Steel from the DC Superheroes, the Cyborg Superman from the DC Superheroes, and then Eradicator from the DC Universe Wave 5. If you're lucky enough to get all those, and the Calabac Regeneration Superman in the black costume, you've got yourself a nice little Reign of Superman display, which is probably what I'll end up doing. But in the meantime, the DC Universe Wave 13 Superboy, I'm going to give an 8.5 to. He's a great figure, and so far the favorite of mine in this set. I'm looking forward to getting the rest of these guys opened up and getting them reviewed for you guys. But an 8.5 for the young Superboy here. That was a toy spot. Today we were looking at DC Universe Wave 13 Superboy. And I am looking forward to getting more of these guys reviewed. This is turning out to be a great wave, guys. But stay tuned for that. There are many, many videos to come and many more reviews. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.